Hi Virgo, Happy New Year and welcome to your reading for January 2019. Set aside anything that you're doing and collect all of your energy into a calm center and be present with me completely for the reading. Don't multitask at this time. Bring your awareness to your breathing and just take a few slow, deep, long inhalations and exhalations. And as you do so, release any tension that you might be feeling and come into a relaxed, centered posture. Okay, Virgo, let's take a look. There's some interesting cards here in the reading. First of all, the thing that jumps out is that you have 3 2s. You have the 2 of Wands in the hopes and fears position. You have the 2 of Pentacles at the foundation. And you have the 2 of Cups in reverse in the position of your outcome. So, I mean, it seems like there's some decision-making or weighing up of options happening at this time. Let's go in a little bit deeper and see what else is here. That was just my first impression. So I'll start here at the foundation because I do tend to view this card here as one of the most important, if not the most important card of the reading. And I say that because this card represents what's in the subconscious mind. It's also the foundation. But the being that it sits here in this position in the reading, it's the card that the rest of the reading swivels on. So I call it the fulcrum. So the 2 of Pentacles in this position, as I said, this is in your subconscious mind. So it seems to me like there is a weighing up of options. There's something here around juggling physical energy and weighing up. And given the context of the other cards here in the reading, I feel that you're weighing up and considering conditions and options that affect your sense of self, your sense of self-esteem, or your sense of confidence. I feel that that's a lot of what this reading here is speaking to. It's there's definitely a sense of here within these cards of you're looking at what it is that gives you a feeling of wholeness, a feeling of calm, a feeling of stability. And what is it that is true for you? You have the Ace of Swords at the center of the reading in the reverse position. I hope you can see these. Ace of Swords in reverse at the center of the reading. So I feel that this is, and then you have beside it, I just caught that, the Ace of Pentacles in the upright. This position here is your outcome or the potential. And let's look at it this way. So the Ace of Swords in the reverse position at the heart of the reading, and then the Ace of Pentacles in the upright position in your outcome. So, and the Ace of Swords is crossed by the 7 of Wands. So I feel that there is something that you need to become more realistic about or more honest about for yourself. It's something around, again, decision making. But seeing the Ace of Swords there in reverse, it says to me that that perhaps either you haven't come to a clear understanding yet, or you haven't attained a sense of clarity or a sense of a clear single decision, that you're still weighing up, you're still looking at options. But crossed by the 7 of Wands, I feel that there is an element here of you needing to decide how to come out of a space of feeling a bit defensive. I feel like there's an element here of you wanting to kind of make decisions that feel like they suit you. And that's, of course, right. That's correct. But there's something here about I'll come back to that, because what's just jumped out at me here now is the Five of Swords in reverse with the with the Fool in reverse. Now, these two cards here are an extension of the Ace of Swords at the center of the reading. So, and I wanted to speak on this now because I just talked about how perhaps you haven't achieved a state of clarity yet, that you haven't come to a sort of one-pointed, clear decision of a way to move forward. And the Fool in reverse kind of feels like that's a very similar energy. And with the Five of Swords here in reverse, I think that this is more about your internal space, because all this is happening. I don't feel like I don't see these decisions or this lack of clarity or this kind of juggling being outside of you. I think this is all happening in your internal space, and it's all decisions that you're working towards making that help you feel a sense of fulfillment and clarity and confidence. But perhaps at the moment, this Five of Swords in reverse is suggesting that you have been kind of ruminating over certain decisions, and perhaps one single decision, or seems like there's maybe a few things that you're looking at in your life at the moment. But the Five of Swords here in reverse is saying to me that I feel that you're tired. You're tired of thinking about it. You're tired of kind of trying to make a decision, not feeling clear and not feeling like you know the right decision to make or the right direction to go. And that must be very confusing and frustrating. That would be very exhausting, I would imagine. And I think that's what this Seven of Wands is about here. The challenge is to overcome your own lack of clarity and the sense of energy continually moving back and forward between different options and not feeling clear on something. And because of that, this Fool card here is in reverse. So it feels like you're not able to come to a clear new start about something, or you aren't able to. It's not about necessarily a brand new beginning with a kind of clean sweep of the past. I feel that this is more about just an energetic space within you where you have a sense of clarity over, where you're putting your energy and why. So I think we can move forward from that now and start to talk about what's here in this quadrant, because this is very telling here. You have the Nine of Cups reversed with the Six of Wands reversed. Now, both of these cards in the upright position clearly describe someone who has a lot of self-confidence, someone who's very contented, someone who feels very successful and happy and fulfilled. Seeing these both in reverse here, it does clearly say to me that you are in a state right now where you may be not feeling necessarily those qualities, and you're part of this decision-making process is about helping you decide what to move forward with, or what to keep and what to let go of, in order to regain that sense of fulfillment and contentedness and success that you know. You're already familiar with this energy. It's not like something strange to you that you've never experienced before. I think you're in a process where you've been kind of traveling along, doing your thing, and at some point things started to feel differently, and you weren't sure why. You kind of started to question whether or not you're, as I said, heading in the right direction. You're not sure if you're doing the right thing, or if this is even making any sense to you or to anybody else. And so you are looking at how you can shift the energy so that you can come back to that space and recall and remember this feeling of confidence, of happiness, of successfulness, of a feeling of attainment, or a feeling of success based on just feeling in alignment with your personal well-being and your personal goals and your personal aspirations and desires, and feeling like you're channeling energy in the right direction, in the same direction as that those goals and aspirations. Because it feels like somewhere along the way you kind of feel like it's not that you're still heading in the same direction that you were, but perhaps your goals and aspirations are what is changing, or the values, things that are important to you, that you consider important or fundamental to your sense of well-being. Those are the things that are changing. So it's about recalibrating your direction so that you are actually in alignment with the new values that you've been formulating over the past period of time. And I feel like for some of you, this could be as long as 2 years this process has been going on. So I feel your frustration. So what else is here? In the position of hopes and fears, this is really interesting. You have, as I said, the Two of Wands in the upright position with the Five of Cups in upright as well. And again, there's a repetition of this too, because I don't know if you can see that in this card. But in the Five of Cups here, you can see that the character in this cup is looking at, sorry, I'm really trying to get this clear so you can see it. So the character in this card is pondering the cups that he's looking at, the 3 cups that are spilled over, which represent his losses or his disappointments. And yet he fails to notice the 2 cups sitting behind him, which are upright. And as I said, you've had a lot of 2s in this reading. There's 2 of Wands here, 2 of Pentacles here at the foundation, and here in the outcome is the 2 of Cups in reverse. So I feel that this 2 energy is very representative of the space that you're in right now, where it is you're about decision making, or you're about weighing up, or you're about contemplation, you're about consideration right now. So being that this is in the position of your hopes and fears, I feel that this is speaking to your desire to want to, it's like you want to feel that sense of everything's okay. And I think that that's why these 2 cards are here together in this position of hopes and fears. It's like, it's actually a very hopeful feeling, even though the 5 of Cups kind of looks a bit dreary and a bit sad and a bit like, yeah, disappointment and loss. But actually being in the position of the hopes and fears, this is saying to me that you very positively and optimistically know that there is a sense of, there's a sense of well-being in this, in all the things that you're feeling. It's like, it's almost like you know that this process is really important and valuable to you, because you understand that there's a need for realignment and coming back into a space of truth, a space of understanding your purposefulness, and feeling like a type of connection that you know you can have, that you've experienced before, but for some reason you feel like is a little bit distant from you at the moment. And I think you understand that this is just an ebb and flow in life. And even though this period of this feeling of kind of feeling uncertain or a little bit disconnected may have been going on a little bit longer than you might feel comfortable with, I think you know that it's coming to a place soon where that feeling of uncertainty and disconnection, or I don't know what the word is, but it's not those things. There's a specific word that I want to use to describe this feeling, but I can't find it right now. I'll come back to it. But it's not a hopelessness. It's what I'm trying to convey here is that this process that you're in, as I said, even though it may be uncomfortable because it's been going on for quite some time, it's not a hopeless feeling. It's a sense of optimism about how close you are to becoming realigned to a more truthful and integral place within you that is where you want to be, where you know you can reach. And I feel this King of Wands here is giving a lot of optimism as well to this reading, being that he's here in the crowning position. I feel that this card represents you, and that this is describing the energy of motivation that you have. It's the fire within you, the spirit of passion that is guiding you forward to actually want to really work with the energy that you're experiencing now, and cooperate and work with, digging deeper within you to kind of uncover what it is that you need to reveal to understand the direction that you need to go for this clarity. And you have this Ace of Pentacles here in the position of your outcome, which is very, very clearly stating that you are so close, if not already there, at the doorway, this portal, the entrance to this new beginning that you have been working towards for quite some time. And you're right, you're so close, you're right there on the cusp. Let's have a look at the bottom of the deck. Justice in reverse, King of Pentacles in reverse, the Hierophant, and Death. And there's also the Devil. I'm going to take that. Look at all these heavy hitters. I'm going to hold this up so you can see. Justice was in reverse, along with the King of Pentacles in reverse. Hierophant upright, with Death in reverse, and the Devil upright. It's hard to hold 3 cards. Let's try this. So all these cards here in the extended reading, very, very, very powerful, very, very inspiring, really deep, very spiritual energy. What I would say here is that there is something here about, well, first of all, seeing the Justice and the Hierophant both together, it makes me feel like there's something in you that you understand that there's something you need to cut away, and the death is confirming that as well. Even the devil. Actually, all these cards together. I'll just talk on all of them at once and not necessarily have to split it up. What I feel is here is that there is something that you understand that you need to cut away and let go of in order to come into this next level of your own experience of human form in a way that kind of, it may feel painful actually to kind of cut this thing away. And it could be a person, it could be an activity, it could be an endeavor, it could be a hobby, it could be a habit. Excuse me, not for me to say. But there is something that you are somewhat attached to, that you understand that you need to let go of, that you are this is actually part of what's inhibiting you from moving forward and coming out of this space of lack of clarity and indecisiveness and feeling a bit stuck and a bit confused. It's something that you need to let go of, that you know is holding you back, in order for you to come to this place of the Hierophant. This is, so what you're moving into now is a new phase of your life where you're moving into a space that's more embodied in the sense of your personal power, in your spiritual endeavor, in a sense of your capacity to lead, and whether that just means your own life or whether you're actually moving into a space where you're going to be teaching or healing or working in some kind of area where you have a type of authority. There's some type of habitual activity that is a little bit immature that you know is holding you back, that you need to let go of so that you can actually step forward. And it's a little bit uncomfortable because you do like that thing so much. You know, there is the devil card here. There's this feeling of attachment, of a type of indulgence. There's a pleasure and an indulgence with that thing, but it's actually something that's not. I mean, I'm all about indulgence. Don't worry about that. But what I'm seeing here is that this is something that you understand is actually, it's keeping you small in a way. It's keeping you locked in a certain type of energy that is just, it's a little bit limiting and restrictive, and you want to, on a soul level, you want to move forward. You want this push. You've got the wind at your back, but you're the one that's holding yourself back, and it's up to you to slice away and free yourself up from whatever this is. It could be a person, as I said, it could be a habit, it could just be an idea. It's up to you to decide what this is. But I feel that it's very important that you face this as swiftly as possible and address it soon, because this is something that, you know, the longer this goes on, this feeling of discomfort, of uncertainty, of, you know, frustration. It's a very frustrating feeling, what I'm getting from a lot of the cards in this reading here. But there's this feeling of like, you know, you're kind of like, imagine a slingshot, you know, it's almost like there's been like that tension on the rubber for a long time, and you're just kind of suspended. And as soon as you let go of that thing, whatever that is, it's like the slingshot goes and you're getting catapulted forward. So the longer you hesitate, the more discomfort you're going to feel, the more frustration you're going to feel. But you're ready for this Ace of Pentacles. You're ready for this new beginning. You're ready for that kind of freedom from all of what's been in the past. You want to get this Fool card in the upright position and turn it around. The Hierophant here is to guide you, to help you understand that this is a level up moment. This is a chance for you to sort of springboard into the next level of your experience. And you can stay where you are if you want to, and keep indulging and keep enjoying those, whatever those are, those people, those habits, those ideas that are kind of fundamentally limiting and restricting. Or you can just springboard forward by like freeing yourself up and letting go of that stuff, and moving on into the next phase of your experience, which is destined to be so much more expansive and beautiful and bigger than what you've been experiencing. Even though you've definitely had feelings of bright, full, expansive, large, confident, successful energy. But now there's a risk here of stagnation if you stay too long in this energy. And I feel like you're already feeling some of that stagnation, because that's what that frustrating feeling is that I'm getting. But you can move forward and slingshot yourself and catapult yourself into the next layer or the next level of your experience by simply addressing whatever it is that you already know that you need to let go of. And just let it be. Just walk away from it. Let it be. Just let it be behind you. Let it be part of your experience, something that helped form you, but now is no longer necessarily part of your day-to-day identification. There's something that you're identifying with that you can certainly really do well to let go of and move away from. I feel that that's it for the general reading, Virgo. Let me just check over, make sure there's nothing else here. Yeah, I'm going to take these two cards here because this feels very much like a summary of what I just described. So the Seven of Swords here in the upright is talking about honesty. And I feel that this is speaking to what it is that you see how the character is kind of taking these 5 swords with him and leaving 2 behind. Again, there's this theme of the 2s, right? So this is about you taking what is actually relevant and leaving behind what no longer is. This is about you being honest with yourself for your own well-being. And then the World card here with it as a pair says to me that there is the completion of a cycle here that's very pending. As soon as you address this issue of what it is that you need to leave behind, then you can close out that cycle and springboard into the next. And then you'll find this Fool card being the next step that you move forward to. But it needs to be upright. You haven't done this completion thing yet. So you're not able to actually feel that sense of freedom from frustration, from stagnancy, from indecisiveness, from lack of clarity, because you need to address whatever this is. And these 5 cards here, it must be hard to see with all this color on the tape on the bed, but here, let me just hold these up one more time. So Justice in reverse with the King of Pentacles in reverse. I feel that, and then with the Death card and the Devil, let's do like this, because these 4 cards kind of go together. So Justice in reverse, King of Pentacles reverse, the Death card reverse, and the Devil upright. So these cards are all representing the energy I just described, where there's something that you know you need to let go of, some type of behavior or indulgence or habit or person or activity or idea or pattern, thought form. You get the picture. That at one point, at one time in your life served you very well. It helped you feel a sense of fulfillment and well-being and happiness and contentedness. But now you understand clearly that it's time to move on from that and make a separation, create a distance between you and that thing, or cut it off completely, in order to step into this new era of your life where you are embodying this energy of the Hierophant, where you're stepping up your game in a spiritual way. And while it may feel like you have to give up something fun, and I think that's part of the reluctance here, is that maybe there's this feeling like, you know, you want to have your fun, you want to enjoy yourself, but it's I don't know if I'm really doing a good job of describing words with the energy that I feel. But the Hierophant is saying that you're stepping into a new era of your life where your energy is just much bigger. It's exponentially bigger. I feel like the step from 4 to 5 is not 4 plus 1, but it's maybe 4 times 4. So your energy is wanting to exponentiate and expand in a way that is very large, very unprecedented for you. And it's maybe some of what it is, some of the reluctance about letting go is maybe you suspect that, maybe you sense that energy, and maybe there's a reluctance to step into that responsibility. Maybe you're a little bit avoiding that kind of energy because it maybe feels too big for you. Maybe it feels like, you know, moving into a different pair of shoes that are the wrong size for you. But the energy is here. It's just already, everything's kind of pending. It's all sitting in place waiting for you to kind of like take that old jacket off and step into this energy that's just there waiting for you. And the final message is, don't avoid. Just be honest, be clear. Do this honest evaluation and step forward with only what you need and leave behind what you don't, in order to close out the cycle so that you can step into this new phase, this new era. All right, I'm going to take the Voyager deck now. That's it for the general reading, Virgo. Voyager deck here. We're going to shuffle again to give you a higher octave reading. So hopefully give us a little bit more insight on what's happening on a spiritual and karmic level, to help us understand a little bit more how to move with grace, how to deal with the energies that we're facing, to really rise up to meet the opportunities that are available to us. So while I'm shuffling, please breathe with me and send your energy into the deck so that I can get really clear messages for you. Four of Crystals reversed, crossed by the Hermit. Sage of Crystals, Six of Cups, Five of Worlds, Ace of Worlds in reverse. It's the same card that you had in the previous reading, but this time it's in the reverse position. And then 10, Fortune from the Major Arcana, Three of Worlds reversed, Child of Worlds reversed, Three of Cups reversed, the Hierophant again, the Fool again in reverse again, Six of Wands, Four of Worlds in reverse. Okay. Okay, Virgo, let's see. Just trying to decide where to start here, because there is quite a few cards here that are repeating from the first reading. And it's very similar energy. The messages are very much similar, but I'm just like looking for where to start to give really clear insight here. I'll start at the center, why not? So Four of Crystals. Hang on a second. Okay. It's very overexposed. So Four of Crystals in reverse. This deck, it's called Logic, and it's crossed by the Hermit. I feel that this is speaking to this kind of holding pattern that it feels like you've been in, where like you maybe you feel frustrated because nothing's happening, maybe you feel like you're not really moving forward, and you maybe feel like you haven't been moving forward for a long time. And as I said, part of that has to do with the fact that there is something that you need to address that you're not letting go of. And the Four of Crystals in reverse here with the Hermit crossing is saying to me that you... I don't know how to say this. It's a funny feeling of like, you think you've been doing your meditation and you think you've been addressing this thing, but you actually haven't. You haven't really been honest with yourself. Like the Four of Crystals in the reverse is saying to me that you are avoiding making a decision because it's just something that is a little bit immature there, I'll be honest. It is a bit more of coming back to this feeling of like the Devil card there, where it is that, you know, you have some certain attachments to certain things, behaviors, people, habits, attitudes, ideas, whatever. And you may not have been yet willing until this point to actually admit that to yourself. And that's what this Four of Crystals is saying here with the Hermit crossing. It's that you haven't been willing to admit that what you actually know is that you have certain attachments that you need to address. And that's what the Five of Worlds here in the reverse, in the past is saying. There's certain things that you need to overcome or just acknowledge. It's a mental energy. It's something it's just something that can shift rather quickly once you just acknowledge it and admit it to yourself. And then you'll be able to move forward into this new beginning and step through that portal, the gateway into this new world, this new life that's waiting for you. And it's nothing dramatic externally. It's all just an internal space of you embodying a certain type of understanding of exactly where you are on the trajectory of your life and what it is that you need to do internally to match the energy that you're actually dealing with on a spiritual level. Because there's a slight mismatch at the moment because you're not actually mentally aligned with the energy of the spiritual force that's pushing through, a force like trying to move through you. Sage of Crystals as the crowning card and Six of Cups as the foundation card here. So this central axis this way is saying, similar to what I just said there, where it's like there's something that you need to acknowledge. This is some type of emotional energy of some type of, it feels a little bit like grief or mourning, but not like in a really like, I don't feel like this is about a person. I feel like this is a type of mourning where you're simply looking at closing the door on a certain part of your life, on a chapter of your life. And this could be what's preventing you from letting go of this thing here. It's like, there's something that I think you're afraid to change your life in a way because you feel like you're going to have FOMO or something. But you're actually already over it. You've been over it for a long time. You've been over it for a long time. I think this is just really about you admitting. Sage of Cups in the position of the crowning card. This is called Knower in this deck. I feel like it's just you coming into alignment with what you actually already know to be true for a long time, and it's your own obstinacy and your own stubbornness and your own unwillingness to kind of just acknowledge and admit that you're just in a different time of your life now than you were a few years ago, and you're ready to do something. Letting go of your attachment to a certain type of lifestyle or a certain type of activity, behavior. I'm repeating myself again here, but just acknowledging to yourself that you're actually ready for something different, and there's no need to feel attached to a certain type of anything, any type of energy, whether it's activity, person, job, attitude, habit, behavior, or even if it's about the way, maybe there's an attachment to the way you want other people to see you based on your activities. It could be something like that as well. So what else is here? You have the 10 from the Major Arcana, which is called Fortune in this deck. It's Wheel of Fortune from the Rider-Waite. As an extension of this 4 of Crystals crossed by Hermit, you have here the Fortune and the 4 of Worlds in reverse called Commencement. So there's 2 4s here, both reversed. Again, this is saying to me there's something that you need to shift, something that you need to address about some fundamental values and conditions and attitudes and opinions that you have that create your foundation, that you need to disturb or upset or shake up in order to translate your energy into a new paradigm where you can actually this card is represented by, or is ruled by the planet Jupiter. And that's what I'm kind of describing here with this. There's this part of your spirit that wants to move into a space that is much more expansive and exponentiated. And that's the energy that this card is saying. But in order to get there, you need to acknowledge and accept that there's something you need to let go of and address that, and actually allow your foundation to be disturbed in a way that makes you have to re-establish a new foundation for yourself and consolidate your energy after having a kind of shift. You need a paradigm shift. Here you've got the 3 of Worlds reversed with the 6 of Wands. You have the 6 of Wands here again in the same position in the last reading. Now, it's upright here. In the previous reading it was reversed. I feel that what this is speaking to is that I think that there's an awareness that you have that making this shift will actually be very beneficial for you, in the sense that you want to actually do things for you that are much more self-nurturing. And the place where you're at now may be not feeling so self-nurturing, in that, you know, as I said earlier, and as I've said over and over again, there's this feeling of confusion, of frustration, of stagnancy, of a lack of clarity. But actually, I think that you already are aware that making this decision or making this shift will bring clarity, will bring a feeling of self-nurturing, and will bring you to a place of greater alignment, which will give you a sense of confidence that you actually are looking for. And it's actually just right there for you. There's just something that you need to pierce through. There's just a thin veil that you need to just remove and sweep all the kind of cobwebby energy of uncertainty away, and just step forward with just what you need and leave behind the rest. Here you have, in the position of hopes and fears, the Child of Wands in reverse with the Fool in reverse. You had the Fool in the reverse here. Now, seeing that here in the position of hopes and fears, it is very reminiscent of what we've already been talking about. Child of Wands in reverse, it's a fire energy that you need to channel. And I think what this is speaking to is, I think that there is a little bit of a nudge here from the universe to say, allow yourself to be in more alignment with what your higher self is calling on you for, and remove the resistance. I think that's why both of these are in reverse. There's still some resistance, you have some inertia, and it's up to you to overcome that by just channeling a little bit more of the fire energy, channeling a little bit more of your divine will, and aligning it with a personal will. So I think that's some of the disparity here and some of the confusion that's been going on, is that you're kind of still clutching onto certain types of earthly things, but your spirit is yearning for more of lofty sort of spiritual things. And it's about kind of attuning yourself to that alignment so that you can actually make this breakthrough. It's very close. And then finally, in the outcome position, you have the 3 of Cups in reverse with the Hierophant. 3 of Cups in this deck is called Love. As I spoke on in the previous reading, you had Hierophant. Both times they're upright here. Again, I would say it's a reiteration of what I've already said. In order to make the breakthrough that you need right now, that you really are wanting, it's just simply about becoming aligned with a certain sense of maturity, letting go a little bit of the sort of childishness, or like the not childishness, just just like that little taste of inertia, just a slight amount of resistance there that you're still clutching onto of the life you know. It's like what's familiar versus what's unfamiliar, and there is a little bit of a fear of the unknown here with that resistance to kind of actually making this transition. It's like letting go of what you already know, even though you know it's done and complete already. That is still somehow more attractive to you than what you don't know, even though what is waiting for you on the other side of this breakthrough is a hugely expanded, exponential version of you that you are really longing for, actually. It's a type of liberation that you can't even imagine. But it's about letting go of what you know in order to step into that space of freedom. But that's where the Fool reverse is. It's that you haven't quite achieved that unconditional trust in the universe yet. And you had the trust card there as well. In order to actually make this transition, you have to embody that kind of like leaping into the unknown with your eyes closed and just trust that it's all going to work out and you're going to land on your feet, and you will. But you have to be able to trust. You have to make that leap of faith in order to be able to make yourself available to the energy that's waiting for you. You've got to meet it. You've got to meet the energy there, and to do that, you have to embody unconditional love. You have to embody trust. You have to address your attachments and let go in order to step through. And somehow there's this touching on a point here around commitment, and I feel that this is around commitment to your higher calling or your spiritual journey, your spiritual life. And for some of you, you may not necessarily use that kind of language in it. You might not relate to it in the way that I'm saying the words, but just feel the energy that I'm describing and trust that and go with that if it works for you. If not, just abandon whatever I'm talking about here. But there is, the Hierophant here is definitely kind of, it's definitely a higher calling kind of an energy. And you either feel it or you don't. You understand what I'm talking about or you don't. But if you understand, I think that I'm clear. What I'm saying there is clear. It's about a higher calling. It's about stepping into a space of really embodying a type of truth, a type of wisdom. And as I said earlier, whether or not it's about you being a teacher or a healer or working in any kind of way where you have that kind of authority, it's not the point. It's the type of embodiment. It's the energy of embodying, understanding, truth, commitment, and loyalty. In a type of spiritual energy. I think for some of you this is just about like taking your spiritual quest to the next level by actually like just stepping into this energy. Let's have a look at the bottom of the deck. Six of Worlds reversed, Child of Cups, Ace of Wands reversed, and Nine of Worlds reversed. There's also the Nine of Cups reversed. I feel that this is speaking to what we've already spoken on several times already. This feeling of like being so close to a new beginning, but there's this like a film of resistance that you're kind of pushing up against, and it's your own inertia, your own unconscious unwillingness to trust and just let go and step forward and allow yourself the freedom from these attachments and indulgences that are holding you back, and stepping into a space where you're embodying more of a type of self-nurturing and self-loving energy, self-caring energy, where it's less about the outside world and it's less about pleasures and other people and activities, but it's more about your internal space of when you feel really aligned with your personal will and divine will in a way that makes you feel so clear and so healthy and so contented in a quiet, fulfilling way, just like in your own space. And it's not about any type of external activities or people or the way people see you or the way you want to be seen. All of that falls away and you just are in a space of being in alignment. I think that this is what this is about for you fundamentally, is like really finally stepping into that true north alignment and letting go everything else that is not in that vibe. It's not in that vibe. That reading felt like a really straight channel, Virgo. I don't even know what I just said there. But I'm going to finish off with this last card here. You have the Star. It's in reverse. As I said, there's like the Fool card in reverse, the Star in reverse. I would love to see these cards turn upright. I would love to feel like this, the Hierophant card here coming out twice, both readings upright, I feel is very clear and strong message for you to kind of just like guide you and help you to kind of make this transition by just like stepping into a level of like upgrading by, it's a kind of mature energy, stepping out of like, stepping up from say being a member of the congregation to actually being the one guiding the proceedings. Something along those lines. But yeah, the Wheel of Fortune here, I really like this. I like this card in your reading. It's very, as I said, supportive. It's a Jupiterian energy, a very expansive, fortunate, blessed, lucky kind of energy. I don't really go with luck so much, but I feel like what this is speaking to is your spirit's desire to really expand and to exponentiate in this type of experience by stepping into alignment with what is really, what your values are really are, what the values are that you really hold dear now, and allowing yourself to release your commitments to anything that is actually no longer really in alignment with what you value and cherish now. Yeah, time space at the top of the deck. This card relates to Judgment from the Rider-Waite. A lot of major arcana cards here and a lot of really powerful, heavy hitting ones speaking about major transformation, big stepping into new energy, revelation energy, like truth. This is about truth. Again, like a lot of the Swords energy that we spoke of from the previous reading as well. Coming into alignment by really clearly being honest with yourself about what's really important for you and letting everything else just kind of be. Just be honest, Virgo, with yourself right now and step into this new energy that's been pending and waiting for you for a long time. It's just time to make that step, time to make that transition. Everything's going to be okay. Just trust. You are guided. You are guided. You know what to do. Stop doubting and questioning. Okay, I feel that's it for your reading, Virgo. I hope you found that helpful. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. It's an honor and pleasure to read for you. Thanks for subscribing. I hope you found that helpful. If you do, please share and hit the like button. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next reading.